Hey guys, I'm BSC1 again, and about 2 or 3 weeks ago there was the World Championship in Boston, and I used a Donphan deck and got 24th, and my teammate Jeffrey Chang also used the same deck and changed one card and got second in seniors, as well as Coulter Decker, who got third in seniors. Anyway, this is the list we all used. So first off, we have the Donphan line. This is going to be the heart of the deck. It is very thick, 4/4 Donphan. You pretty much need 4/4 Donphan in every kind of Donphan deck, just because it is pretty much going to be the only attacker besides Hawlucha, and Hawlucha is sometimes situational because it cannot attack non-EXs. For Hawlucha is not only used as an attacker in this deck, but also as a wall. This deck runs 3 Focus Sash, so you can put a Focus Sash on Hawlucha, and then even though it has a low 70 HP, it can get 2-shotted a lot of the time because of the Focus Sash. You can also put Focus Sash on Donphan, which is what I find I do against decks like Archie's Stoice and Metal or Metal Quaza, because what you want to do is power up a Wreck on Donphan with a Focus Sash, and then you can use Wreck twice in a row, which is just an insane combination. So you want a very thick Hawlucha and Donphan line because this deck has very little Pokemon. This is actually all of the Pokemon if you include Bunnelby right here. And you want to start with Hawlucha as much as you can as well. So as you can see, you'll probably run out of walls if you don't run at least 4 Hawlucha. Bunnelby is here for a couple of reasons. It actually won me 2 games at Worlds by deck out. I decked a guy out by using Burrow twice. And also against another guy playing Metal, I ended up being able to burrow him like 10 times in a row. It's kind of ridiculous. But it's also there for Rototiller because you can use Bunnelby to recover 2 Robo Substitutes and then just keep spinning, turning into the Robo Substitutes. It's a favorable exchange because the way it works is you give up 1 prize, assuming Bunnelby gets knocked out, which it probably will, to get back 2 subs, which will just basically compensate for 2 Pokemon not getting knocked out. So it works out evenly. Also, Rototiller can get back double colorless energy, which is going to be really helpful. Or just basically anything you need. It's just a really nice attack that can help you with your consistency. And if you start with it, you can just kind of burrow until it gets knocked out. Draw support line is very straightforward. Just 4 Juniper, 4 N, for Karina, and 1 Chorus. So this is all the draw that is not item based. Juniper is standard in every deck. I know you might be thinking I have 4/4 Donphan in the deck, so I don't want 4 Juniper because I don't want to Juniper away Donphan's early game. But the way it usually works out is you can usually start with a Phanpy. So you can play Phanpy on the next turn evolve to Donphan and then Juniper, or sometimes you will just have to discard the Donphan. But in the long run, it's almost always worth it, and this deck doesn't run Sacred Ash, so the 4 Donphan you have are the only 4 Donphan you're always going to have, so you have to keep that in mind when using this deck. But 4 Juniper is definitely needed for consistency. 4N is also needed for consistency. It's mostly just there for early game so you can set up. Just make sure you don't dead draw. Karina is amazing in this deck. If I could run 8 Karina, I probably would, honestly. It'll get you whatever you need pretty much every turn besides energy. And that is actually the 61st card in this deck. If I could put 1 more, it would be a Professor's Letter, so Karina could get you energy. But yeah, Karina's amazing. Super good for setup. It's just great at any point in the game, being able to grab, the Muscle Band or the Bangle or the Substitute or any of that. It's really good. And and the 1 Chorus is just there to draw lots of cards later in the game. Make sure you don't dead draw and things like that. As for other supporters and draw support stuff, there's 3 Lysander and 3 VS Seeker. 3 Lysanders because this deck is almost always going to 2-shot unless it's using Wreck. Yeah, 3 Lysander is just great for pulling back up those Pokemon that you did damage to previously and finishing the knockout. 3 VS Seeker just to get back any of those draw supporters I just showed you, or the Lysanders. I use it a lot actually for Lysander, I think more than anything, or the Chorus. I'd like to add in a second Chorus if possible, but this list really cannot fit a second Chorus. So that is it for the draw support and supporters. Stadium line, a little bit different than most Stadiums lines out there actually. We just run 2 Fighting Stadium and 2 Silent Lab. So the reason we decided on this was because Kyogre was a tough matchup, and so was Metal, and we realized that Silent Lab is great against both of those. So we decided to include two, and that has actually changed the matchup against Kyogre and Metal to being slightly favorable against Metal, in my opinion, and about 50-50 against Kyogre. So that is why we have the two Silent Lab. I definitely think that you should keep it in, even if you're not worried about Metal. Silent Lab is just super good against a lot of decks, so unless you don't expect to see anything that has Pokemon with basic abilities, besides probably Shaman, because pretty much everything runs Shaman, then I probably would keep the Lab in. I think 2-2 is a good count for this. As for items, the A-Spec of choice is Computer Search. This is a no-brainer. You have to run Computer Search in this deck, mostly because of Karina. So you can Karina for Computer Search and then Computer Search for whatever you need. Frequently with this deck, I will Karina for Computer Search and then Computer Search for Double Colorless Energy and then Wreck. And you really need Computer Search to give you access to your Double Colorless Energy whenever you really need them, because the deck only does have two. So Computer Search is definitely the A-Spec you need to run in this deck. I would not consider anything else. 3 Focus Sash. This is awesome. This is MVP in the deck. Thank you, Brandon Contu and Max Armitage. Basically, this is amazing because, like I said earlier, you can wreck twice with Focus Sash, and you can wall with Hawlucha 2 times instead of once, because and the other nice thing about walling with Hawlucha is it has free retreat, so you can always just bring it back for free and bring up a Donphan, and having 3 is just super helpful because it means you can use Hawlucha to wall sometimes, and other times you can use it on Donphan to make sure Donphan doesn't get knocked out. This is going to be very useless against decks with bats because they can always just put 20 damage on you with Golbat and then knock you out. So this is going to be useless against bat decks, but against pretty much everything else, it's going to be very helpful. 2 Silver Bangle, 2 Muscle Band. 2 Silver Bangle and 2 Muscle Band's pretty much been standard in this deck since it came out. You have Muscle Band to hit things that are non-EXs and Bangles to hit things that are EXs, so you just run 2 of each. I have found 1 Muscle Band to not be enough in my experience. I tried it, but it just doesn't really work out too well. 1 Ultra Ball, just so you can Karina for it. Sometimes it'll add a little consistency because you'll run into it and it'll be able to grab you a Phanpy early game or a Hawlucha when you need it or something like that. Just ups the consistency a little bit more. I'd like to have 2, but I actually could not fit it. This deck is very packed. I think 1 is fine though. I'm satisfied with 1, and I think you don't really need more than 1. And then after that is Robo Substitute. 4 Robo Substitute because it's an amazing wall. It literally just denies your opponent's prizes, so that's anything that can do that every turn for 4 turns is amazing to me. And that is going to be it for the items. Finally, the energy is a very straightforward line, just 4 strong, 2 double colorless, and 5 fighting. 5 is a little bit unorthodox, I guess. I think most people were running 4 for a while. The reason we have 5 is because of Toad Garb and just consistency in general. It's nice to have 5 fighting instead of just 4. I think people ran 4 for a while. But yeah, it's very basic line. I wanted to go to 3 double colorless energy, but the only real cut I could make for a 3rd double colorless energy was a basic fighting, and I found that to not be a good cut for it. So that is going to wrap up the list. So that's it for the list, guys. Thanks for watching. Comment if you want to tell me something, like if you like the video, and subscribe for more. Also, on a separate note, I am making a new website that is going to be dedicated to Pokemon content and maybe eventually Magic the Gathering content. But right now it's going to be exclusively Pokemon. It's going to be articles. I'm going to offer coaching. It's going to have premium articles, videos, things like that. I'm even going to be able to make customized... I'm going to restart. Alright guys, that's it for the video. On a separate note, I am going to start a new website. I'm not sure on the name of the website yet, but I'm going to start working on it actually today. We are going to do, well, it's actually just going to be me. It's unless I decide to bring in more people, it's going to be just content from me at the beginning, but I'll probably end up bringing in more people that have experience with the game that can give good content too. But I'm going to be putting out premium videos, so I have these YouTube videos, but I'm going to have more in-depth explanations of things in those, and I'm also going to have deck lists out more quickly. So I post my Donphan deck on my YouTube channel like this about 3 weeks after Worlds, but if it would be in one of my premium videos, I would upload it about a week before Worlds or a couple days before Worlds so that people could have actually used the deck at Worlds, and you can actually use the deck when it's at its full potential. So I would upload lists like that more quickly, and other deck lists that I might not show on the channel. Offer coaching, so one-on-one coaching with people or even a group. I want to help people get better, and I need a way to make money. So coaching people is a great option. I have done well throughout the entire season, so I think I have a lot to offer and a lot of information to give people, and very simple tips that people could just do to make them do better at pretty much any tournament. There would also be premium articles, so you could pay for a subscription or just pay for a single article that you might want to read. Articles relating to everything from deck choice to metagaming to card choice and just learning what counters what. I have a lot of valuable information that I can put into articles and so many ideas I can give to people. And I can even do things like art commissions. So I could have a section on the site that says art commissions, and you could, tell me what you want me to make, and I can make it for you. So yeah, those are the things that I want to offer on the site right now, but as it grows and things like that, and I get more ideas, I could make it bigger, add more things. And if you guys have any ideas, just be sure to tell me. I'm open to anything right now because it's just starting. So give me a comment if you think that you would be interested in subscribing to that kind of thing, or you think it's a good idea to make it. And I guess that's it. Thanks for watching.